Good evening, my weary academics, and welcome to History to Sleep By, where we nerd out and conk out. If you enjoy calm, narrated history documentaries, or just need a reliable friend to help with restless nights, please subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share a comment about what's happening in your life. That way, you'll always find your way back to us. Now, let's begin tonight's journey. In the late autumn of 1776, the American Revolutionary War was in full swing. The Continental Army, under the command of General George Washington, faced a formidable opponent in the British forces led by General William Howe. The strategic significance of Fort Lee, located on the New Jersey Palisades opposite northern Manhattan, was paramount. Established to bolster the defenses of the Hudson River, Fort Lee worked in concert with Fort Washington, situated directly across the river. Together, these forts aimed to prevent British ships from advancing upriver and to protect the American positions. The garrison at Fort Lee, commanded by General Nathanael Greene, consisted of approximately 2,000 men. These troops were tasked with holding the fort and supporting operations across the river. However, the British forces were determined to seize control of the area. General Howe, along with Lieutenant General Charles Cornwallis, devised a plan to outflank the American positions. Their strategy involved a surprise crossing of the Hudson River, intending to attack Fort Lee from the rear. On the morning of November 20th, 1776, under the cover of darkness and dense fog, British and Hessian troops began their crossing at Gloucester Landing, a few miles north of Fort Lee. The ascent of the steep and rugged Palisades was a daunting task, yet the British forces moved swiftly and silently. By the time the Americans realized the threat, the British had already reached the top, poised to strike. Faced with the imminent danger of being surrounded, General Washington and General Greene made the difficult decision to evacuate Fort Lee. The order was given in the early hours of the morning, and the American forces began a hasty retreat. The evacuation was a race against time as the British closed in rapidly. The Americans moved southward, crossing the Hackensack River at New Bridge and continuing their retreat across Overpeck Creek. In the chaos of the retreat, much of the fort's supplies and artillery were abandoned. The Americans managed to save some of their equipment, but significant amounts of material, including provisions and ammunition, were left behind. The British forces, upon reaching Fort Lee, found the fortifications largely intact and quickly occupied them. The capture of Fort Lee provided the British with a strategic advantage, securing their control over the lower Hudson River. The American retreat continued across New Jersey, with Washington's army making its way toward the Delaware River. This retreat was marked by a series of maneuvers aimed at avoiding direct confrontation with the pursuing British forces. The Continental Army, though weary and demoralized, managed to evade capture. The loss of Fort Lee, however, was a significant blow to American morale and highlighted the challenges faced by Washington's forces. Casualties during the fall of Fort Lee were relatively light, with only a handful of American soldiers captured. The British, having executed their plan with precision, suffered minimal losses. The swift occupation of the fort by British and Hessian troops underscored the effectiveness of their campaign. Despite the setback, Washington's leadership during the retreat helped preserve the core of the Continental Army, setting the stage for future engagements. As the American forces regrouped, the harsh realities of the war became ever more apparent. The loss of Fort Lee was a reminder of the formidable opposition they faced and the need for strategic adaptability. Yet, amidst these challenges, the resolve of the Continental Army remained unbroken. The events of November 20th, 1776, would become a part of the broader narrative of the Revolutionary War, a testament to the resilience and determination of those who fought for independence. And so, as the night deepens and the echoes of history gently fade, let us find solace in the quiet strength of those who came before us. May their stories cradle us into a restful slumber where dreams of peace and perseverance linger softly. Good night, dear listeners, until we meet again on another journey through time. As the winter of 1776 settled over the American colonies, the chill in the air mirrored the somber mood among the troops. The loss of Fort Lee weighed heavily, yet it was not the end of their story. the Continental Army, under the leadership of General George Washington, moved with quiet determination. They retreated across New Jersey, a strategic withdrawal that was as much about survival as it was about regrouping. The landscape was stark, the trees bare, and the ground hard with frost. Each step was a reminder of the journey still ahead. Washington understood the importance of maintaining morale. He knew that the spirit of his men was as crucial as their physical endurance. As they marched, he spoke with them, offering words of encouragement and hope. His presence was a steadying force, a beacon in the uncertain twilight of their struggle. The men, weary but resolute, found strength in his leadership. They were not just soldiers, they were farmers, tradesmen, and fathers, each with a story, each with a reason to fight. The nights were long and cold, the stars bright against the inky sky. Around campfires, the men shared stories of home, tales of loved ones waiting for their return. These moments of camaraderie were precious, a balm for their weary souls. The crackling of the fire was a comforting sound, a reminder that even in the darkest times, warmth and light could be found. The scent of smoke mingled with the crisp winter air, creating an atmosphere of quiet reflection. As December approached, the Army's situation grew more precarious. Supplies were dwindling, and the harsh weather made movement difficult. Yet, within these challenges lay the seeds of opportunity. Washington, ever the strategist, saw a chance to turn the tide. He devised a bold plan, one that would require courage and precision. It was a gamble, but one worth taking. The target was Trenton, a small town held by Hessian forces. A victory there could reinvigorate the cause and renew faith in their mission. The plan was set in motion on a cold Christmas night. The Delaware River, swollen and icy, lay before them. Crossing it would be treacherous, but the element of surprise was crucial. The men moved with quiet determination, their breath visible in the frigid air. Boats were prepared, and one by one, they began the perilous journey across the dark waters. The river was a formidable opponent, but the men rowed with a steady rhythm, their focus unwavering. As dawn broke on December 26th, the Continental Army emerged on the other side. The town of Trenton lay ahead, still shrouded in the haze of early morning. The Hessians, caught off guard, were quickly overwhelmed. The victory was swift and decisive, a much-needed boost for the American cause. News of the triumph spread quickly, lifting spirits and rekindling hope. It was a turning point, a reminder that even in the bleakest of winters, the promise of spring was never far away. In the days that followed, the Army regrouped, their resolve strengthened by the success at Trenton. The victory was not just a military achievement, it was a testament to the power of perseverance and unity. The men, once weary and uncertain, now stood with renewed confidence. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, a testament to their courage and tenacity. As the year drew to a close, the Continental Army prepared for the challenges ahead. The road to independence was still long and fraught with obstacles, but the spirit of the revolution burned brightly. Washington, ever the guiding light, continued to lead with wisdom and grace. His vision for a free and independent nation inspired all who followed him. The winter of 1776 was a time of trials and triumphs, a chapter in the unfolding story of a nation's birth. The lessons learned and the bonds forged during those cold months would endure, shaping the course of history. As the snow blanketed the fields and the rivers ran cold, the dream of liberty remained warm in the hearts of those who fought for it. And so, as we drift into slumber, let us carry with us the echoes of that winter, the courage, the resilience, and the unwavering hope of those who came before us. May their legacy guide us through our own nights, bringing comfort and peace. Good night, dear listeners, until we journey together once more through the pages of time. In the quiet that followed the harsh winter of 1776, the first whispers of spring began to stir. The air, once biting and sharp, softened with the promise of renewal. The soldiers, weary yet resolute, felt a shift in their spirits as the days grew longer and the sun lingered a little more each day. The thawing ground beneath their feet seemed to echo the gradual warming of their hopes. In the encampments, fires still burned, their smoke curling into the sky, a testament to the enduring spirit of those gathered to fight for a cause greater than themselves. As the earth awoke from its slumber, so too did the resolve of the Continental Army. Supplies, scant and hard-won, began to trickle in, bolstering both body and spirit. The men who had endured the biting cold and the gnawing hunger found new strength in the changing season. The camaraderie forged in the depths of winter now blossomed into a brotherhood that would carry them through the battles yet to come. Each soldier, from the youngest drummer boy to the seasoned veteran, understood the weight of their mission. They were not just fighting for independence, they were fighting for the very soul of a new nation. The leadership of General George Washington was a beacon during these times of uncertainty. His presence, steady and unwavering, inspired confidence in those who followed him. Washington's ability to maintain morale and discipline was as critical as any weapon. He knew that the struggle for independence was not only a test of military might, but also a test of endurance and unity. His vision for America was one of hope and possibility, a vision that he shared with his men around campfires and in quiet moments of reflection. As spring unfolded, the landscape transformed. The rivers, once choked with ice, flowed freely, their waters a symbol of the unyielding spirit of the revolutionaries. Fields, barren and stark in winter, now teemed with life, a reminder of the cycle of renewal and the promise of the future. The soldiers, who had faced the darkest of times, now found themselves in a world awakening to new possibilities. They trained with renewed vigor, their drills echoing across the fields, a testament to their commitment and resolve. The challenges were far from over, but the lessons learned during the winter months had fortified the army. The men understood the importance of strategy, of patience, and of the careful planning that would be required in the campaigns ahead. They knew that every skirmish, every maneuver, was a step closer to the freedom they so desperately sought. The bonds formed in adversity became the foundation upon which their success would be built. In the towns and villages, the spirit of revolution was alive and well. The people, inspired by the bravery of the soldiers, contributed in whatever ways they could. Women spun cloth for uniforms, farmers donated food from their meager stores, and blacksmiths forged weapons and tools. Each act of kindness, each gesture of support, was a thread in the fabric of a nation being woven together by shared sacrifice and common purpose. As the days grew warmer, the Continental Army prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. The lessons of the past were not forgotten. They were carried forward, guiding the decisions and actions of those who would lead the charge. The dream of liberty, once a flicker in the darkness, now burned brightly in the hearts of all who dared to dream of a new world. The path to independence was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but it was a path they were determined to walk together. And so, as the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the land, the soldiers and their leaders looked to the future with hope and determination. The journey was far from over, but the spirit of 1776, with its trials and triumphs, had laid the groundwork for the battles to come. The echoes of that winter, with its courage and resilience, continued to resonate, a reminder of the strength and unity that would see them through. As we close our eyes and drift into dreams, let us carry with us the spirit of those who fought for freedom. May their courage inspire us, their resilience strengthen us, and their hope guide us through the nights and days of our own lives. Good night, dear listeners, until we meet again in the gentle embrace of history's unfolding story. The gentle whispers of history carry us now to the quiet fields and bustling towns where the seeds of a new nation were being sown. In the months following the Declaration of Independence, the air was thick with anticipation and uncertainty. Communities across the 13 colonies found themselves at a crossroads, their paths intertwined with the fate of a fledgling nation. The spirit of independence had taken root, but the struggle for freedom was far from over. In the towns and villages, life continued with a rhythm both familiar and altered. Families gathered around hearths, sharing stories of distant battles and nearby skirmishes, their words weaving a tapestry of hope and fear. Farmers tended to their fields, their hands calloused and strong, their minds often drifting to thoughts of loved ones far away, fighting for a cause that was now deeply personal. The land, with its rolling hills and fertile valleys, stood as a silent witness to the unfolding drama, its beauty a stark contrast to the turmoil of the times. Women, too, played their part in this unfolding story, their roles expanding beyond the confines of home. They managed farms and businesses, their determination as steadfast as the soldiers on the front lines. Some took up quills and pens, their voices echoing through pamphlets and letters, rallying support and urging unity. Others offered shelter and sustenance to weary soldiers, their homes becoming havens of respite and renewal. In their quiet strength, they embodied the resilience of a people determined to forge their own destiny. As the seasons turned, the Continental Army faced challenges that tested their resolve. Supplies were scarce, and the harsh realities of war weighed heavily on their shoulders. Yet amidst the hardships, moments of camaraderie and solidarity shone through. Around campfires, soldiers shared stories and laughter, their bonds strengthened by shared sacrifice. Their leaders, too, bore the weight of responsibility, their decisions shaping the course of history. Through victories and setbacks, they remained steadfast, guided by a vision of liberty that burned brightly in their hearts. In the cities, the pulse of revolution beat with a different rhythm. Streets echoed with the clatter of horse-drawn carriages and the hum of conversation as merchants and tradespeople went about their daily lives. Taverns buzzed with debate and discussion, the air thick with the scent of ale and the fervor of new ideas. Here, the spirit of 1776 found fertile ground, its ideals taking root in the minds of those who dared to dream of a better future. The press, too, played its part, the printed word a powerful force in shaping public opinion and rallying support for the cause. Across the Atlantic, the events unfolding in the colonies did not go unnoticed. In the courts of Europe, whispers of rebellion reached the ears of kings and diplomats, their interest piqued by the audacity of a people seeking to chart their own course. Alliances were forged and broken, the delicate dance of diplomacy playing out on a grand stage. For the young nation, the support of foreign allies would prove crucial in the battles yet to come, their aid a lifeline in the struggle for independence. As night fell over the land, the stars above bore silent witness to the hopes and dreams of a nation in the making. Under their watchful gaze, plans were laid and promises made, the future unfolding in the quiet moments between dusk and dawn. In the hearts of those who dared to dream, the spirit of 1776 lived on, a beacon of hope and courage that would guide them through the darkest of nights. And so, as we close our eyes and drift into dreams, let us remember the men and women who, with unwavering resolve, laid the foundations of a nation. Their courage and determination continue to inspire, their legacy a testament to the power of hope and the strength of the human spirit. As we journey through the pages of history, may their stories remind us of the enduring power of unity and the boundless possibilities of a dream shared by many. Good night, dear listeners, until we meet again in the gentle embrace of history's unfolding story. In the quiet aftermath of revolution, the landscape of a new nation began to take shape. The air, thick with the promise of change, carried whispers of hope and the murmurs of uncertainty. As the sun rose over fields once tread by soldiers, communities emerged from the shadows of war, eager to build a future worthy of their sacrifices. The soil, rich with the memories of battles fought and won, now awaited the seeds of peace and prosperity. Farmers returned to their lands, their hands calloused yet steady, ready to till the earth and sow the seeds of a new beginning. The rhythm of the seasons offered a comforting predictability, a reminder that life, despite its trials, continued to move forward. In small towns and burgeoning cities, the hum of industry began to rise, a symphony of progress that echoed the dreams of a nation reborn. Blacksmiths hammered iron into tools, carpenters crafted homes from timber, and merchants filled their shelves with goods from near and far. In the halls of government, the architects of a fledgling democracy gathered to chart the course of this bold experiment in freedom. Their debates, passionate and profound, laid the groundwork for a system that sought to balance the ideals of liberty with the practicalities of governance. The ink of the Constitution, still fresh, symbolized a commitment to principles that would guide generations to come. Each word, carefully chosen, reflected a vision of unity and justice, a blueprint for a society where every voice could be heard. As the nation found its footing, the spirit of innovation took hold. Inventions and ideas flowed freely, sparking a wave of creativity that touched every corner of life. The printing press, a powerful tool of communication, spread knowledge and news, bridging the distances between communities. Education, once the privilege of the few, began to reach the eager minds of the many, nurturing a generation that would carry the torch of progress forward. The rivers and roads became lifelines, connecting people and places, weaving a tapestry of commerce and culture. Travelers journeyed from one settlement to another, sharing stories and experiences, their paths crossing in ways that enriched the fabric of the young nation. Each encounter, a reminder of the shared destiny that bound them together, a testament to the enduring strength of community. In the quiet moments of reflection, the echoes of the past mingled with the hopes for the future. The memories of those who had fought for freedom lingered in the hearts of their descendants, a solemn reminder of the cost of liberty. Yet, alongside the memories of struggle, there was a growing sense of optimism, a belief that the future held infinite possibilities. The land itself seemed to breathe with the promise of renewal. Forests, once silent witnesses to conflict, now teemed with life, their canopies sheltering a world of vibrant growth. Rivers flowed with a steady purpose, carving paths through the landscape, their waters a source of sustenance and inspiration. The sky, vast and unending, stretched over fields and mountains, a canvas painted with the colors of dawn and dusk. In the gentle embrace of night, as stars twinkled above, dreams took flight. The dreams of a nation, woven from the hopes and aspirations of its people, soared on the wings of possibility. Each dream, a thread in the tapestry of a shared future, a reflection of the enduring spirit that had carried them through the trials of revolution and into the promise of a new day. As the world turned, the story of this young nation continued to unfold, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of dreams to shape reality. The journey was far from over, but with each step forward, the path became clearer, guided by the light of hope and the strength of unity. And so, as we drift into slumber, let us carry with us the stories of those who came before, their courage and vision lighting the way for the generations yet to come.